Today we're going to be talking about the secondary two-way immersion program. Fun fact is that the very first two-way immersion program school was established in the state of Florida back in 1963, and currently there are over 300 two-way immersion programs in the United States according to a national database. So the definition of the program, you may ask, is pretty much a program where the instructions given in school are taught in both languages, such as English and Spanish, for example, here in the United States, and two groups of students are involved. So that means that either they are students who are English speakers and students from a native language background, such as myself, which I am a Spanish background student. I grew up going to school only speaking Spanish, but I was not part of a program, or to be specific, the secondary two-way immersion program, but I do remember that I was receiving help from certain classes to expand my vocabulary in English and to understand what was being taught in class. But for example, in the state of Utah, many schools offer both Spanish and English instructions for students, with the goals of promoting academic achievement in bilingualism and biliteracy development and an understanding of different cultures. The great majority of two-way immersion programs use English and Spanish as an instructional preference language. For example, back in 2019, I had the opportunity to attend elementary here in Utah, and I was able to see how the students that I observed were instructed in both English and Spanish. Just some background information: these students were native speakers, but also English speakers, so there was a mixture of both groups. And there were third graders. Majority of their classes, I noticed, when it came to literacy, science, and geographic class, they were taught in Spanish rather than English. When they did not understand nothing completely, the teacher would talk to them in English so they could get a more detailed explanation of what was being expected from them. But to continue with the question of what is this program, pretty much this two-way immersion program takes the explicit steps toward language status equalization between English and the minority language and promotes a long-term view of language and literacy development in two languages. Okay, now on you may ask yourself, what kind of students or what type of students participate in the secondary two-way immersion program? And the answer to this is any student from any geographic background is eligible to participate in the program. That means as diversity continues to grow here in the United States, for example, students from Latino backgrounds and English native speakers make up the majority of the two-way program. About 10.5 or 10.5% of those students enroll in the two-way immersion programs are students under the ELL program, which is known as the English language learner, due to English not being their first language. So any students is able to be enrolled in this secondary two-way immersion program. Now, a lot of people may ask themselves, what are the tenets to the program that qualifies for it to fit under the dual immersion or dual language education? But pretty much the two-way immersion models have both students whose native language is not only English is not English, and students whose native language is English. The model promotes the maintenance and development of students' first language and the acquisition of a second language. So it's been said that some of the outcomes that are expected from this program are for students to have a positive performance at the elementary level or whatever level they're introduced into this program. Such studies have shown that the two-way immersion students generally outperform non-two-way immersion students on standardized academic achievement tests in reading and math. Moreover, students seem to successfully master oral and writing skills in both languages and display positive attitudes towards school, bilingualism, and people from different culture and racial backgrounds. Geographically, the two-way immersion program can be found in almost every state in the United States, but it can also be found in different continents as they provide primary native language and English being the secondary language being learned. So it's pretty much the same idea or goals of the program all around the world if you really think about it. For example, like certain students from Spain, their main or their native language, instructional language would be Spanish, and they have the option to learn any other language such as English, Catalan, or French. I personally believe that the secondary two-way immersion program is one of the best dual immersion programs provided here in the United States, as it provides students with multiple benefits, whether it's academic or personal. But when it comes to personal, students find it very beneficial for them to be enrolled in these programs as they think about their future. They expect to be very successful, whether it's for attending college, finding their career job, being able to interact with various cultures all around the world. And when it comes to school, they are excited to continue learning not only in English but also in Spanish or whatever other language they are enrolled in. They're expected to develop higher academic achievements for their class. Okay, so as stated in the article about the secondary two-way immersion program, the students that were part of the experiment were asked a couple of questions, and a lot of them were glad they were able to be part of this program, whether they were middle schoolers or high schoolers. They all appreciated the benefits that being bilingual brought to them. In fact, a lot of these students said they liked learning Spanish and English at the same time. They really enjoyed the program and enjoyed taking these classes. They also believe that it was very important to learn another language as it gave them the opportunity to interact with others from different cultures. I wanted to cite what some students stated. According to the article, it says that some students stated, knowing two languages helps you get a good job when you grow up. And there was about a high percentage, above 90% of students who agreed with this. Technically, from my experience and from people that I've known that have been part of this program or have decided to actually learn a second language, the reason why they decided to learn this language, one, for most of all, was to be able to get a better job opportunity in their future, and two, obviously, to be able to communicate with the different cultures surrounding us. But I would strongly agree with them. Even though I come from a Hispanic family where I already knew the second language that was introduced to me back in high school, I I feel like if I wouldn't have known my first language, I probably would have taken classes as well, as it would have helped me academically and benefited me personally, to the same reasonings as the student stated, to be um, interacting with different cultures and to have a better job